guys, and welcome to my review of chapter 223 of Haikyuu, and this chapter is called Harsh, and that kind of says it all because that is Kageyama's attitude throughout the entire chapter. And I kind of want to keep this review short, however every time I tell myself I want to do that, the reviews are 10 minutes or longer, so let's see how well I do on this. We see in this chapter that Kageyama is repeatedly telling people to do better. And by the end of the chapter, Tsukishima kindly points out that though Kageyama was invited to the national training camp, which should have been a good thing, it seems that now that he has come back, he has regressed into his old kingly ways. And while that might seem like the case, I really do think Tsukishima is quite off. Because the difference between the King Kageyama from his middle school days and the Kageyama of right now is that King Kageyama would always tell people to do what he wanted to do. Like, he wanted a spiker who could match his studies. He wanted the ideal spiker. What Kageyama wants now is for the people like Nishinoya and Tanaka and Asahi and Tsukishima to do the best of their abilities. So he's like, Tsukishima, you should have jumped the second time. I knew you could do it. Asahi, you should have made the decision faster. I knew you have it in you. You are ace. When Tanaka misses that cross spike, Kageyama looks quite annoyed. And I think the reason that he's not saying anything is because that Tanaka knew himself that he should have been able to do it, but he just made like one mistake or something. So Kageyama didn't say anything, and of course with Nishinoya in the beginning of the chapter, he was like, okay, you were literally in the way of our bag attack, as someone also pointed out in the comments last time, and that's not a good thing. And Nishinoya was very fast to be like, okay, I get you, I see what you want me to do here, I will improve for next time. Of course, it's also interesting that, like, Kageyama is being very harsh with them. He is, like, being like, okay, you're doing this wrong and you should have done that, and that is very, like, kingly. And who is it that says, like, it's Tanaka who says that there's this thing called proper speech and manners and stuff like that, and Kageyama's just like, how the fuck would I say it? Like, there's no other way to say this. And Tanaka in this chapter is really funny because every time Kageyama does something that he disagrees with, he's just kind of, you, and I just have to be like, okay, hold it right there, just don't attack him. Also, in the beginning of the chapter, Nishinoya literally attacked Kageyama, and I was mildly disappointed that we actually didn't see them collide with each other, but that was really funny because you just saw like the slow progression of Nishinoya getting closer and closer and then just jumping at Kageyama, but that was really funny. But yeah, I think there's a clear difference in between the King Kageyama and the Kageyama of now, because before he was out for himself and now he just wants to his teammates to improve because he knows that they have it in them, and of course they need to be at their best to not only beat the code but to advance in the spring tournament. Of course, it's also interesting, I think it's Suga who says that Asahi is just like really off his game today, and like I think just everyone in general are just like a little bit off, and like it could have come from the fact that for that 1 week they mostly practiced their serves, and of course they were missing Kageyama, Hinata, and Tsukishima, so like 3 of their regulars weren't there for them to practice with, so that could have like completely jumbled the rhythm they had going on, and then with all these people trying their new things and then again trying to overcome this new Tateko, which are just such a good team. Like, the coach for Tateko even says like their blocks have really come together now. Like, last time they faced Karasuno, they were distracted by their the wing spikers, and they were just like not really organized, but now they really have everything under control, and their new captain is just doing such a good job with motivating everyone. And Karasuno is just, as I said last chapter, they're still kind of finding themselves, and now with Kageyama just changing the dynamics completely, it's just like it's like the cup is full and just like waiting to break. And while it's super interesting, I'm kind of seeing, because I feel like someone is gonna not break but just like explode, and something is just gonna go wrong. Like they'll obviously lose the set that they're having right now. I think we ended the chapter at like 20 to 24, so like it's the match, or not the match, the set point for Dateko, and they'll probably like take the first set, and if the match has to go on for like quite some time, we'll probably see Karasuno take the next set, and then it'll be a match for like the third, because we kind of, yeah, quite quickly got through this first set in 2 chapters, 1.5 chapters or something. So yeah, that's, yeah, it's a bit short. I mean, they could just put a lot of effort or time into the second set and then have them lose that as well. But I do think we'll see 3 sets, because that's usually like, you fail in the first set, then you kind of redeem yourself in the second one, and then you just fail again in the third. That's usually how it works when, yeah, not only with Karasuno, but with all of the teams who have lost so far. One thing that I don't think I've ever really touched upon on this channel is the dynamics and the relationship that Tsukishima and Kageyama have. I don't know if I've said this before, but I really like, Tsukishima is my favorite character, and I love the relationship that Kageyama has with people because he's so unique. And of course, last chapter or 2 chapters ago, I spent like 10 minutes just talking about how much I love Hinata and Kageyama's friendship. And while Hinata and Tsukishima obviously has this like really interesting kind of rivalry going on, Tsukishima and Kageyama have always been like, Yamaguchi says, like oil and water, they just don't get along. And when they do get along, like we see in the Shiratorizawa match, it's like for brief seconds, or just like in dire situations where like, okay, if we don't work together now, we won't win this match. It's kind of like, if you watch or read One Piece, it's like Zoro and Sanji, they only ever work together when they have no other options. And that's kind of like what this is. But then what's interesting is that Yamaguchi says he wished he knew why their dynamics was like this, because yeah, of course they had like a really shit first encounter with each other, but then again, so did like Yamaguchi and Hinata didn't really like each other before, and they are really good friends now. It's not something we see often, Yamaguchi and Hinata interacting, but we see it in the background a lot. And if you rewatch the anime and kind of just focus on these 2 characters, you'll see that in the background they'll like cheer together, fist bump. They've grown quite close. I think it's especially visible in the 2nd season. And yeah, they're quite comfortable with each other. Yet Tsukishima and Kageyama are still like, they are not on the same page. And I think that's something that needs to be addressed, because while it's not important that they're best friends, it's important that they can take criticism from each other, because I think it was also Yamaguchi who said this, that Tsukishima doesn't really, like, he doesn't snap at people for telling him that he can do better, he just does it when Kageyama tells him to do something better. And like, Kageyama has so much like knowledge and I was about to say enthusiasm, but I meant experience in volleyball that Tsukishima could really pull on, because as he's been so isolated from the volleyball world with his way of thinking just before the 2nd training camp they had with like Nekoma and Fukurodani and all those guys, like, he was just like, he didn't think of volleyball as anything more than an extracurricular activity. So yeah, I think that's something that should be addressed. I don't think it will happen immediately, but I think that because Yamaguchi now pointed it out, that it's something that's gonna be explored further as we go into the story. But yeah, apart from all of these small things and then just Karasuno completely failing in this match, there's not really much going on, but I think it's all these small hints of Kageyama and his relation to other characters that's like the things we should really like take into consideration when looking at this chapter. But yeah, I think that's it for me. I don't think I spoke for that long, maybe. But yeah, if you liked anything that I had to say, please leave a thumbs up on the video. Leave a comment below what you thought of the chapter, and you can subscribe to me if you want to see more of me. I also do reviews of One Piece, Boku no Hero Academia, and Shokugeki no Soma, so if you're into any of those, you can subscribe. And until next time, bye!